listening to the Balancing Act podcast. Here's your hosts, Jamie Wonko and Joe Vitale.
Hey, guess what? We're officially recording.
Ooh la la. That is what I like to hear.
Very French.
What a French year it's been. Yeah. Welcome to the Balancing Act podcast. I am Jamie Wonko. I am here with Mr. Joseph Vitale.
Well, hello.
You know what rhymes with Vitale?
Finale. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Look at you. We're like we're like Eminem. We're in the cipher. Okay. Look, funny. This is our season 2 finale. Ladies and gentlemen, insert round of applause here. Here we are. Yeah, here we are. And so many amazing things have happened, which we're looking forward to talking about today. But yeah, here we are. We did it. We did a thing. We're doing a thing.
We did a thing.
This is the thing.
This is the thing.
Yeah. So, how are you? This is actually debuting, right? This episode will be broadcasting right at the end of our school year. Which again, if you've been following along, we get out June 57th. Or at least, again, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, it's exceptionally late this year for us. I know that, lots of other states get out or run the schedule more of like August to May. And here in New Jersey, it's pretty typical for the school year to start after Labor Day and end, somewhere in the, 16, 17, 18, the teens, if you will. We are going until June 25th, which is a very easy marker for me to remember because it is my oldest child's birthday.
Yay.
So the 25th. And so it's an easy marker for me to remember because my oldest child is born on the 25th of June. And in his almost 17 years of being here with us, we have once had a later end of school year. He was about 5 years old, and we got out on the 27th, which was bananas, and in its own right. Because I just remember like celebrating his birthday, and then he was actually like staying with my sister, and I was, it's like, is this year ever over? But yeah, the 25th is pretty late for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
earliest ever was June 10th. That was the year of COVID.
That was the year of COVID, and that was amazing.
June 10th was amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. But no, it's not unique to us in New Jersey, but just to speak about it, like we have our calendar has built-in snow days in the district in which we work. And if they don't use those snow days, they tack them onto Memorial Day weekend. And our schools are also used for primaries for New Jersey elections in June. So we had off like, what was it? September. No. Tells you where my brain's at. We had off for extra days on Memorial Day weekend, and we had off a day before the New Jersey primary. So we had like a long weekend, came back and worked 3 days. Another long weekend, came back and worked 3 days. Now we're in school, and then we have off for Juneteenth, and then we come back and we work 4 more days. And it's like, why are we still doing this? And I'm sure there is a reason. Before it was like project graduation or when graduation is or whatever. But I don't understand why we don't figure out a way to make sure that we take these days and take them off at the end of the year.
Yeah. I think that's something that needs to be brought up. And I think in education and a lot of other systems, to use our, Dr. Santorelli, right? The idea often becomes like, well, this is how we do it instead of like, maybe we shouldn't anymore,
Yeah.
So I gently suggest maybe we shouldn't anymore. And for a while, the last few years, there's been this really prideful pitch that we do not have a day off in September or October, right? It's like, we're going straight through and we're going straight through and we're going straight through till November because of the consistency for the kids. And it is fantastic. And it is 100%, the consistency that you need. And at the end of the year, it is too many in and out. It's just so difficult. Today, it was fighting. I just couldn't, and I don't blame the kids. You got a trip, then you're off for 5 days, then you have a trip, then you're in class for 1 day, then you have another trip, then you have another 4-day weekend. And then, the teachers are like, hi, we have to, and the kids are looking like, have to what? It's,
and then that's unique to you with the 8th grade. And now they've added like a little quasi field day thing, which is happening.
Yeah.
So there's that. And it's a lot of things. So
Even
I'd
the
be curious.
Chromebook collection, I think,
Oh, yeah.
triggers
Yeah.
some "it's over" sort of feeling, and then, of course, we have 5 half days at the end of the school year,
Yeah.
and, I was actually telling some of my students we were talking about it because they said, "I don't think we have a half day, Mrs. Swunko. I don't think Wednesday is a half day." I said, "No, I promise you, I take my end of the school year dates very seriously."
Uh-huh.
And I said, "And I promise you that Wednesday is a half day." I said, "We have always had 5 half days." I said, "In one year we had 6." And I could not remember why we had
Yeah.
6, but we did. That stuck out to me. And I also, was remembering very tragically, we had lost a student, a 7th grade girl, was killed, in 2006. Oh 05, oh 06. I feel like it was the first year that I was Wonko, so I'm pretty sure it was, like, June of 2006, 2007, somewhere in that range for sure, and she was killed, kids, on a half day of school
Mm.
had left. They were, like, running across the train tracks, and she got killed by a train, and in front of, like, her whole group of friends, and boy, was that awful, awful, awful. And for a while after that, a lot of us thought, maybe we won't have half days anymore or something like that, but, that wasn't the case. That's not, they do definitely then that was my gosh, I mean, we're approaching, like, almost 20 years from that time period, but yeah, so
Been
we
like that It's been like that since I was a student in the district a million years ago.
mm, got it.
So
It's pretty common in places to have the thank goodness for the half days, but with our schedule now with the 1-hour periods, the half days, they can get real busy.
yeah. So, I mean, that's neither here nor there because we are also at a point where it's like, you know what? Our listeners are listening to this and it's like, damn it, we're done. Let's close up shop here. So I
Close it
think
up.
I think there's a lot of adults that feel that way. I mean, my own children who are in high school are also like, okay, finals and then let's shut it down. And rightfully so because it's been, junior year is a very important one. It's been a lot of work and I'm looking forward to them being able to have an opportunity to you know, relax a little bit for themselves in the summertime before they pick up their senior year, and then all the things happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, here we are, and we've had some major monumental moments this season, and I thought today it would be fun for each of us to go over and rank. I mean, we can't do like a David Letterman top 10 list because we'd be here for a while, but like the top 3 answers on the board as to our top 3 moments for each of us during season 2. So that's what we are going to be discussing today. And then maybe if you're listening, and you didn't check out those episodes, you will go back and you can check out those episodes over the summer and take a look at
I think we are the perfect poolside beach listen.
exactly. We are.
Yeah, you don't wanna totally stay out of the game, teachers and parents,
Yeah.
you wanna relax, but also go back and revisit some of our episodes from season 1 and season 2
Correct.
and be able to, catch up and then be ready to join us in September for our season 3 because we are coming back with a bang.
Yeah, we are. So and we'll announce this again at the end too, but yeah, we will be dropping season 3 in September. We already
Drop,
have like
drop, drop, drop it like it's hot,
that's right. We already have a slate of guests ready,
right?
and people that we're setting up recordings with, and spoiler alert, we may even be on some other shows. Which I mean, things are happening.
Whoa, it's
Cool
all
stuff for
happening.
us.
Joe's next tattoo is gonna be, Lake Penny Lane. It's all happening.
It's all happening. Yes, my next tattoo. Jamie's first tattoo is going to be that. Are we getting one this summer? Is that what's happening?
I
Um,
mean, probably not, but
Probably not.
I'll let you write
So,
it on my leg in Sharpie. How's that?
oh, love it. All right.
Oh,
So why don't you do your ladies first? Your first top moment from this season. Why don't you do one?
my top moment.
Yeah, or well, one of the top 3.
All right.
It's hard to be like 1, 2, 3. So like the top 3 moments in no particular order, right? Or in a particular order, however you want to do it.
No, I don't have a particular order. I don't
Okay.
have a okay, so I'm gonna start with, Middle School Maniacs and Courtney Varner. Courtney Varner is hysterical, and she was a great person to speak to. She has, some really, really funny ideas, and approach to her days in the classroom, and someone who's been teaching for, I think if I can remember, she said about 16 years. So, definitely a veteran teacher at this point. And I absolutely loved and will hold her quote as I have taken it very, very seriously. Ha ha ha, pun intended. But she had pointed out, if you are not having fun with the kids, you
Yeah.
really need to reevaluate what you're doing on a daily basis. And it is 100% true. They are children. So find ways to enjoy them, enjoy your time with them, and get them to have some levity and some light and some joy as well. And I think that is so ultra important.
Yeah.
So that would be one of my top moments for sure.
And if you are not following Courtney Varner, you absolutely should be, because she's a great follow, and she posts so many wonderful, funny memes that speak basically to my heart. And she's also been a great friend of the show in like reposting stuff
Yes.
and just every once in a while reaching out, and we send her a message to say, hey, this is really funny. And then we chat a little bit. It's just, it's great to kind of create relationships like this, which I guess is a nice little byproduct of what we're doing.
hmm
Um, so
And she's like, hi, underscore, it's underscore me, underscore, Mrs. Underscore.
Yes. We will make sure that we post it in the episode description in case you wanna give these people a follow. We've had some wonderful guests on this season, and
Absolutely.
from all different walks of
The teaching landscape,
backgrounds. Yeah, teaching
backgrounds,
landscape and educational stuff, and as well as,
psychiatrists, psychologists,
yeah,
researchers,
branching out,
professors.
baby.
Yeah.
Listen, I gotta it's probably at the top of my list, but I have to mention that my favorite thing that happened this year was by far, my little birthday to surprise when we recorded, What Grinds My Gears, which was a fantastic episode. And I've listened to actually a few times. It's one of the few I've like listened to again. And there's some times where we just are laughing at ourselves so maniacally and uncontrollably about the ridiculousness of that episode. And my favorite moment, of course, was these people, and they're in the hallway, and you walk past them, and they don't say hello. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't get I still don't like it. Although
I
now I
know.
feel like we do have a few people who listen
Yeah.
that we work with, and now I'm like hyper like, "Hi, hi,
Yes.
hi, hi." I don't wanna be caught
What did you
out.
call it? The hello, hey, hi police? The hello, hey, hi
"Hello,
award?
hey, hi, police." I actually saw the, the lieutenant
The
of the "Hey, hi,
lieutenant.
hello, police," last week at a retirement party, and I said to him, I told him about the episode, and he was like, he's been retired for like a good, I guess, 4 or 5 years now, and he was like, "Thank you very much for continuing my vision," and it was like, "Salute to you, sir. Hey, hi,
Exactly.
hello."
But yeah, both of those episodes that we just spoke about, Courtney's and the Grind My Gears episode, you can find on all your podcasting
Yeah.
platforms. Uh,
Oh, and you wanna know something? Because 'Cause I'm
yeah.
gonna say
Oh,
grind
oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
just
All
grind in
right.
my real quick.
You
So I for reals. So I go to this
are
retirement
are
party.
you going off the rails here? What's going on? Okay, I'm ready.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm ready.
My platform, am I allowed?
I mean,
Okay, I'm diving in
our
really quick.
our platform, but I'm with you. I'm with
Yeah,
you in
that's
spirit.
what I
Let's do
mean.
it.
Like, am I allowed to
Of
in this
course you are.
moment? Okay.
Of course you are.
So I went to the retirement party, and I totally and completely agree that, like, not everybody can be everybody's cup of tea and, all the things. But there were a couple of people that I worked with for a long time that would never say hello because they don't need to,
Okay.
because they don't like it,
Mhm.
and they didn't. And I also didn't. Like, I felt like, "You know what? If you don't wanna say hello, and I'm not gonna say hello either."
Mm,
But I've been thinking about it nonstop since last week.
really?
How do you feel about that? What do you think? Any thoughts?
I don't really have any thoughts. I know you as a person, and I could see you taking a stance and saying, "Okay, I'm gonna dig my heels in, and
It's weird.
I'm not gonna do this." But then again, I could also see you being like, "You know what? I'm gonna be the bigger person, and I'm gonna, like, go over and I'm gonna say hello. Hi, how are you? What's going on? How are you?" You know? I could also see you, um, doing that as well. So I don't
No,
have
go over. I mean, one walked, like, right and just Well, nope. Okay. And the other one, it was like, hi, turn, just turn the head, turn the head,
Yeah.
turn the head.
Yeah, no, I don't I mean,
I mean, I
I
guess
don't disagree with your
I'm
sentiment
not
behind it. I
saying
really don't.
hello anymore, right?
Okay.
Like, this is what happens. I'm now a member of this club. It's called the We Do Not Care Club.
Ooh.
It's for women. A woman started it on Instagram. I love her. We will also tag her because she's amazing. And she started a club, and it's called the We Do Not Care Club. And we do not care. It's women that are perimenopausal and menopausal women are in the club. So sorry, Joe, you're not allowed in.
Oh, man.
I know, sorry, but I'm not sorry because we don't care. That's the premise of the club. And she's like, "To my teenage daughter who gives me an attitude, I just want you to know, we do not care." She's fantastic.
I
And
mean,
now she wears like a napkin, and people have now started, like their own chapter. So I would like to officially start the New Jersey
oh, well,
chapter of the We
excuse
Do Not
me.
Care Club. Thank you.
Wow, that's
That's
a
right.
big deal.
That's right.
Can I be like, I need to be something for this. I could be like, no, I can't be anything because
I
I
mean,
don't
you could be a supporter.
I'm not perimenopausal.
It's
So
true. Ugh, I wish
what
I
if your
wasn't.
s what well, I mean, what if your spouse is? I mean, I
Well, she
could
doesn't
be.
care about
Okay.
you because we don't care.
These are all
It's
good things.
amazing, but I have to say, like you said, "Oh, yeah, I know you as a person," but it makes me think, like, I feel I do not care.
You also get to a point where
Something that would have bothered me 10 years
see,
ago, it's
that's
just I'm like, "Oh, I clearly am a member of the
yeah.
We Do Not Care Club because we do not care."
Yeah, and it's funny you say that. There's a comedian who I love, Bill Burr, who does not listen to our show.
Oh, yeah, Bill Burr.
Yeah, and he's great, and he talks about, like, as you get older, you just get to this point where you're like, really, I shouldn't say that. Screw it, just say it." And that's like your internal monologue where, like, you get to a point where people are like, "Oh, well, they're, 75 or they're 60 or they're, 187.2 or however old they are." Um and, like, it's just yeah, that's just how they are. That's just what they say. Like, I recently went to a little family thing, and it was great. It was wonderful, but I have 2 aunts, and they're both in their middle 80s, and, like, they just say things that people that lived the life that they live just that's what they say. And,
But at what age do you think they started their chapter of the We Do Not Care Club?
it's
Because I
not that
bet
they
you it
read
was longer than you think.
I don't know, but
Huh.
at the same time, they have opinions and they do not care who hears them or do not care if people agree with them or not. So, like, safe spaces do not exist for an 85-year-old. And there's
Because
nothing wrong with
they're
th
card-carrying members of the We Do Not Care Club. I
yeah,
swear, I think that
card-carrying
for
members.
women, it's, like, happening during peri to menopause.
Yeah,
That's how
and
I feel.
there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. So, like, you get to a point where it's like, why do you wanna deal with the BS anymore, right? You get to a point where it's like, "You know what? It does grind my gears."
Yeah.
Um, Hearkening back to that episode, but at the same time, you get to a point where it's like, "Meh," you know?
Right, like, it doesn't it's like, "Oh, you don't wanna say hi because like, that's not something that
Yeah.
you value?" Then, okay, me neither.
Well, I recently had a conversation about something at work and made a comment about like, "Yeah, well, this is what's gonna happen next year." And somebody was like, "Well, that's not." I said, "No, you're not understanding what I'm saying. That's what's gonna happen
Yeah.
because I have tried once, I've tried twice, I've tried 3 times, and it
Thrice?
thrice, and it has not worked. I've done it
Yeah.
kindly, I've done it sternly, I've done it, "Hey, let me just CC this email," like, and things have not gone in a
Moved. Nothing
direction.
has
So
changed.
I'm just gonna not in a jerky way, like, and be a jerk about it, but I'm just gonna this is how I'm gonna handle it, and the reason why I'm gonna handle it that way is because that's what I need in that moment, in that space, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
you doing that is what you need in that moment,
That's right.
in that space. It's
Yeah,
exactly what you need.
yeah.
So you can't say like, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. You should." It was like, "Well, no, because that's what I needed in that moment."
Right.
Right?
Yes.
It's like, I know this is not the same analogy. It's like if you're dieting and you're trying to be good, but then like, you know what? I really want to have French fries. So you have French fries and you go off the rails a little bit and nothing's awful and you're not a bad person. It's just the way things are. That's the way this is with this particular situation too. It's like you just need it in that
That's a
moment.
fact, Jack.
Yeah, that's that's a fact, Jack. So,
Yes.
we had our friend Courtney and we talked a little bit about Grind My Gears, which is probably my favorite episode of the season.
Ever.
So I mean, at this point ever.
Yeah.
What else would be, what's on your list of our other top moments from season 2?
What's on my list? What's on my list? Okay. I'm gonna tell you that I really did enjoy the ways to deal with stress that we talked about, particularly around the holidays.
Yes.
And I believe his name was Charlie Burley.
Charlie Burley, our friend
Charlie Burley!
overseas.
Oh! Oh my gosh, one of the kids today was like trying to talk about different accents. And right now I'm rewatching, talk about self-care. I am like the biggest fan of rewatching shows I've already watched. And I know that they say that that's like a very common thing for people that are, having lots of stress or anxiety is that it's like a comfort show. So I rewatch Gilmore Girls and I rewatch Downton Abbey. I have like a few, right? So right now I'm in the middle of Downton Abbey. Anyway, so thinking of him and his accent, but one of the kids today was saying like, "Oh, I can do a lot of accents," but it was like the worst accent. And it was like, "Now I am speaking Cockney, and I am
And when we are done with this episode, I'm gonna guess who that is because I guarantee you I know who it is.
And then it was like, "And are from Ireland," and it was like, "What is happening?"
It's like,
And there
bro,
were
no.
and they all sounded nothing even like a little bit like any of anyway. But yeah, so the idea of like how to find ways to, have less stress, how to like stress management. And I think, there are certain things that seem really obvious to people, but it doesn't, everything isn't for everyone. So I do know that right before the holidays, I thought that that was excellent. Like he gave us some
Yeah.
really nice stress management.
It's also hard when you're living in it to,
Yes.
to look in and be and
Yes.
then, the phrase I always use is see the forest through the trees, right? Sometimes we
Yes.
can't see everything that's going on around us.
Right.
And it's also like, the old hindsight being 2020 kind of deal, where you just don't realize, like, until you can kind of step outside yourself and, like, look and understand and analyze, like, "Oh, this might be something else or a different way that I could approach things." And I think that also leads to some of the things that we've talked about later in this season, um, about, like, the parents and doing all the things, and the fact that we just went through, again, Maycember, where all the things were happening, and it culminates with, especially now, this time of year, it for our children, it culminates with, um, SATs and, final exams, the end of the semester, the stress that surrounds that for the kids, our own children, right? And the difficulties that they have and the struggles that they have with that. And watching my daughter try to do all the things and say, she's kind of falling into that same trap of what we are falling into as adults, like volunteering our time to do this, wanting to do that. Oh, I want to do this thing. There's this party. There's that thing. Like you need to say, like, okay, what are the 3 things, 2 things, one thing that I really need to do, and then do that, and realize that
Yeah.
other things,
Yeah.
the trade off of doing that, right? Very easy to say, hard to put into practice. So I think one of the
Yes.
things that was mentioned in that episode, which was before the holidays, and Charlie's also an excellent follow on the socials as well, because he posts a lot about, you know, teacher teacher burnout and how we as professionals can do things to make sure that that doesn't happen. Um, so I'm just trying to look at the actual episode number. That was definitely from December.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah,
I
the
just got
teachers.
it up on my
Yeah,
screen.
the teacher's health coast. It was our season 2, episode 15.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, so
Premiering on December 10th if
yeah,
you
that's
want
right. So
to
he's
yeah.
at the period teachers dot, excuse me, the dot teachers dot health dot coach. And he's also on, a lot of the other socials as well. So he's a great follow, especially if you're looking for tips on that. Summertime is when we decide to put other tools in our toolbox, right? Of things that we want to accomplish maybe for the coming year. And I think that that is something that every single one of us in the profession, whether you're new or old, um, would be, or new or experienced, I guess, instead of old, right?
Yeah.
Would be something that we should, all take a look at. I
Yeah.
kind of have I know I'm gonna break the rules here, but I kind of have 2 things more recently that were really awesome that were top moments um,
I mean, the rules are there ain't no
for me.
rules. You do it.
Yeah, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
So we had 2 things that went on. I mean, we've had a bunch of wonderful guests.
Yes.
Anna Kay, Read Away with Miss K, who
Yes.
again, I'm shouting out Anna Kay again because she is such a great fan of the show, and when she sees our content, she reposts, and she has like a huge following and stuff like that. So it's a huge bonus for us. It gets our show out to more people.
Yeah.
And again, great episode. She had wonderful advice, especially for new teachers.
What's
So
the
definitely something.
expression, try to stand next to people who make you feel like they're human sunshine, because you just
Yeah.
like they are glow. That's her. She
Oh
just
yeah.
has she's like a human sun. She just glows and you
Yeah.
just feel warm and wonderful, like being near her.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there were really 2 things. It was awesome to do a guest swap with our friends at the NJAEA.
Yes.
Um, Chelsea and Bianca. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And a shout out again, friend of the show, Nick Ferroni, Q hearts at this point, flying from my head. Um, our buddy Nick Ferroni, who connected the 2 shows. We talked to Bianca and we talked to Chelsea, and we were able to set it up where they were on our show, we were on theirs. That was a show that debuted in May during Teacher Appreciation Month, but also talked about some of the challenges that new teachers have coming into the classroom, and also from the perspective of them. What do they want to see, for the next generation of teachers? And props to them because both of them were talking about, that student teaching is an unpaid internship. We understand it's the experience. You're paying for the credits. We
Yeah.
understand everybody's done it, but we go back to what we talked about earlier in the episode. We've always done it that way. That doesn't mean it's the best system.
Right.
And they're advocating for some kind of reimbursement for teachers who go through student teaching. They're driving themselves, they're doing
Yeah.
all those things, and they're not making any money. And a
Yes.
lot of them are working on the weekends, and they're also doing the job of a full-time teacher during that time. So it's an unpaid internship, and it's
And it's a
something that
paid for internship because you have to
yes.
pay the college
So
to
and again, it's something that we all went through, but
Yes.
that doesn't mean there isn't room for change. And looking at it from their perspective, I applaud the fact that they're like, you know what, we want to talk to people and work on legislation and talk about that.
Great.
And so that was a recent, guest that was a huge highlight for us, and the fact that we appeared on another show, which was great. It was awesome to go down to the NJEA offices and record
Yeah.
with them, and just having my man Merv on was awesome because when I talked to Merv. When I wanted to start a podcast and you and I came up with the idea, and I met him down at ISTE and said, "Hey, let's just have a beer and sit down, and I want to run some ideas by you." And I said, "One of these days I'm going to have you on." And he's like, "Absolutely, I'll do it." And we were just waiting for the right time. And just the fact that he's always been such a positive sounding board for us, and not just a friend of the show, but personally a friend of mine, just from somebody you meet at a conference and strike up a great relationship with. It's really been awesome, and it's such a huge thing to have somebody in a role that's, quite important with common sense, who's also talking about how, technology in the classroom can be game changing, but we also need to make sure that we're looking at how we administer what we administer and how much we're using it. And him, also being a dad and having 2 younger girls that are going through this same journey that all of us are going on with younger
Yeah,
kids.
so relatable, so
Yeah.
relatable to in both
Yeah.
professionally and personally.
So, I mean, and that is no slight against any of the guests we've had on because, my goodness, I kind of forget the guests that we've had on. But,
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you scroll back through the last,
yeah, through the last
39
season.
episodes. It's amazing
Yeah,
how
I
many
mean,
things.
if you're looking for stuff on AI, we got it. If you're looking at stuff on classroom management, it's there.
Yeah.
And you can always reach out to us on any of those socials or send us an email, drop it a line at thebalancingactpod@gmail.com.
That's right.
And say hey, what episode was that? We'd be more than happy to steer you in the right direction. We're still going to be posting over the summer. You'll see us on social media. We're going to talk about some different things that are important to us, and you'll see us, but just not releasing any content. So, are we down to our last? What is our number one?
We're beaching,
thing?
not teaching.
We're beaching, not teaching. Yeah, girl.
Well, I think you did 3.
Well, I mean, I got to tie the 2 of them together. That was me breaking the rules. It's
Break 'em.
the guests that we've had on. But if I, 2
Got
things
it,
that
got
made,
it.
and again, we've had so many.
So many.
We had
I really have to say, as I started scrolling through,
yeah,
think that this experience is so unique and amazing, and a lot of people have said, like, "How do you have time for that?" And I always think, like, how does anybody have time to do anything?
Yeah.
When something is important, you make it a priority and you carve out the time. Neither of us have oodles of extra time, but it is as much, I think I've gotten as much, from every single, chat that we've had with people, and even, you and I being able to kind of work through things and talk through things, and the whole experience of it has
Yeah.
just been so, so, restorative.
Look, our goal doing this is it was to help as many people as we could. That was like we've always done professional development and helped people, but we said, you know what? Let's do something. Let's get it out there and see what happens.
Yes. And I think
Um,
also really it was born out of, like, how do we help, each other?
yeah, of course, because
And so in helping each other, we've, now been able to sort of go, like, expand outside of ourselves. And
yeah,
it has really been, talk about pour in rather than pour out. It's really been
yeah, and
amazing.
if you look back at all the guests that we've had on, we've reached out to a number of people. Some of them we've had to be persistent with. Others, it's like, hey, would you want to do this? And they're like, yep.
Yeah.
Or, friends of ours who've said, "Hey, I got a person that might be good," or, "Have you ever talked about this guy?"
Yeah.
Or, maybe this person, and we're like, "Sure, let's, cast a line." So, like, when we had Danielle Dick on, that was a close friend of myself and my wife who said, "Hey, I work at Rutgers with this person. It might be a great guest for you." Um, so those things are all great episodes. And we're thankful for anyone who's, shared our show with a friend or who's reached out to us and said like, "Hey, what about this person?" Or, "Oh, I just listened and this was something I'm going through." It's really
Yes.
been a fun experience for the two of us. So,
Agree.
all right. And your last top moment, drum roll.
Drum roll. Okay. So we had an episode that we talked about, which is sort of what was the starting point for us, which is being part of the sandwich generation. And I think for me that was definitely a big moment. I was able to actually like deal with some of my own anticipatory grief. So when you have someone that is sick for a very long time, you know that you're living through a constant period of grief called anticipatory grief, which will only be then, the official grief once the person has passed. But as someone who's living in this like longest state of anticipatory grief imaginable for us at this point, I was able to sit down and go through, the details of it, talk it through, and then actually made like a couple of videos even of just like some pictures and like understanding the process of everything that's been going on. And I was able to look through and think about, exactly how much it has changed me and shaped me as a person, and how I will never be the same again. And just sort of like where I want my important um, time and really even my emotional, energy to go, and where I you pour out essentially. And so I think that it was such a moment, and it's like it's sad, but yeah, like people have really sad things that are going on and really tough things that are going on. And that for for so many of us is it's important to have a space where you can talk about things that are happening, because not everything is, and I'm a pretty upbeat, optimistic person. We have a teacher who is a friend of the pod, Miss Leonardo, and she does this fantastic project with her kids where they have to write a letter to a teacher. And so she gave me my letters last week and she said, "You're gonna cry." And I was like, I don't cry, I don't cry anymore." And she's like, "No, I read them. I think, that you will." And she was right. And, it's like when something's really sad, you'll cry. When something's really funny, you'll laugh. But they were so poignant and so touching, and a common theme, the thing that I'm most proud of in each of those notes in the cards from the kids was, um, "You always made me feel better. You always knew when I was having a bad day. You always asked me how I was doing. You were always smiling." And I think it's such a point of pride for me because my so much of my personal existence the last couple of years has been so traumatic and so sad in so many ways. And so I try. I can't say like, oh, I don't try. No, I try to make that environment that the kids are with me in every day because I know how important it is for me to have a positive, healthy environment to be in. And took that, and so when I look back at that episode, and really like the whole reason that the podcast started, it always has to be a highlight for me because it's a safe space for me to talk to you and to know that our listeners are connecting with the experience of caring for a sick loved one and, and all that can mean and what it can do to you. So that would be my third and final highlight.
Yeah, you are one of the strongest people I know, not just from dealing with this situation, but when everything that you're saying um is valid and 100% truthful. The students that come into your room, I know for a fact, get the best version of you each and every day, even when I don't want to say they don't deserve it. That's not what I mean by this, but like even when you rightfully could just not give them the best version of yourself because of everything you have going on outside the classroom. So to say that you know, it's not just about strength, it's also about the fact that you can recognize that and still create an environment for learning for your students that um, allows them to express themselves, but also know that there's an adult in the room that cares. And I try to do the same thing. Um, I don't get any letters because, I don't teach eighth grade. No one likes me. Because
It really is I wish that it would be something that would be mandated, for all of the language arts classes because it's such a great project,
yeah,
and as teachers, like, we really you know, you she encourages them to express their feelings, which is a very difficult thing to do.
yeah,
It's a difficult thing as a teacher to get the kids to do it, but because it's a formal assignment, and she has like such a structure to the way that they're doing this. It's perfect. And I mean, those, letters that I got were, I will keep them in my desk drawer and I will look and they will be a source of comfort for me, for until next year and until I get more letters. Just kidding.
nice.
But it's a good way for the kids to be able to communicate how they're feeling because, that they have feelings, they're just not always, the best at expressing them. So, for you and for all of our listeners, the highlight for me is gonna be to be able to, share my journey and feel seen and heard and understood with it.
So, like, now if I say something, like, that wants to be funny, like, "Oh, my top moment is this funny thing," I'm gonna look like an ass because you just
No!
said this one. 'Cause you're just like, "Everything is done, man, this is
Oh,
so
yeah.
wonderful," and I'm like, "Yeah, remember that time I said I was laissez-faire and you laughed at me for, like, 4 weeks? That's my top moment." There it is. No, actually, in an unrelated note,
Uh,
on the business side of things, I
yes.
do have to say, um, that probably my number one thing, and it's a behind the scenes thing for us is really a thank you to, the people at Human Content for
Yes.
taking a little bit of a risk on us. Granted, we're investing in ourselves, and it's something that we're doing, putting some investment into the show to get it out on more platforms, but they're helping us do things that we cannot do,
Without them, yeah.
without
Mhm.
them unless I get taught how to do it, and, I had a case of the can't, don't want tos, so I was like, "Meh, no," but,
But they're a great team. They're so
no, yeah,
supportive, so
yeah,
encouraging.
Aaron and Rob and Shanti and
Yes.
Tessa, just,
Yep. Tessa.
the people that are behind the scenes with the show, and we do the editing but they're giving us guests to outreach to, they're giving us tips and tricks on how to do things better, they're making sure that we're on all platforms, they helped us with our website, like, we already have some plans in the works for season 3 that all of us are excited about. Not
Yes.
just us, but them too. They're like, "Yeah, we wanna do this. We wanna continue. We wanna, help you guys and get your show." And this is not in a, it's we wanna leave you in a if we were to ever stop working with them. They're going to make sure that we're in a good place to do our show and continue doing it however long we decide to do it, right?
That's right.
But that's definitely a highlight. Like, we took a risk, and so far, it's something that's paying off for us. We're growing each and every month. We're getting our message out there. We're trying to help more people, and I feel with them as partners with us that we can only continue to grow and move in that positive direction.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. We are I'm unstoppable. Who sings that song? See you?
I was gonna say, like, see you in September.
Oh yeah, we got that going on. So yeah, we will be on hiatus for the summertime. We'll be picking up back the first week of September with some content. You'll definitely see us, like I said, on social media posting, and we hope that you'll interact with us in between, pool sessions and beach trips and vacations and recharging the batteries. We invite you to go back and listen to some episodes that maybe you didn't check out. But we will be dropping it like it's hot in September with some awesome guests that we're already working on getting on the show, and some new content for you guys. And we're just so excited to continue this journey. And not only that, I'm excited to continue doing it with someone who that I respect and admire and enjoy doing this with. So
it, bestie.
Yeah.
Let's go get those tattoos.
Yeah, let's go get those tattoos. Should we get like matching like tattoos? Like, if we did get matching tattoos, what should we get? That's the question.
Oh my goodness. That could not be an on the fly. I'd have to pour over that.
Yeah, we'd have to pour over that one.
Yeah.
I feel
but it would be cool if it was like,
yeah.
Like if I put my finger up and then you put your finger up and then it said something.
Or we both had mustaches.
Soda sisters, something like
soda. Soda is not a dessert food. We can do this. We can have this argument forever. Okay.
And we will.
There's certain things. There's hills I want to die on. I've talked about Chips Ahoy as a garbage cookie. I think boba tea is gross, even though I've never had it. That's another thing of mine.
Oh, we should do that. We should try.
It's got chunks in it. I don't know how I feel about it. I say it to the students and they're like,
tapioca.
No. I don't know. Something about it just doesn't sit right.
I'm surprised you wouldn't try it. You're a trier.
I'm a trier, but like,
put it on the list.
Put it on the list. But no, we are excited to be back with you guys in September. We hope that everyone has a wonderful, restful, fruitful summer. Filled
long, lazy days of summer.
Yeah, filled with all the things that help you balance the craziness of life. And we're looking forward to coming back strong in September with you guys.
That's right. Joe, as always,
hey,
I appreciate you.
You know what? I appreciate you too. I'm gonna go laissez-faire and put my feet up and get this summertime rolling. All right, we will see everybody in September on the Balancing Act Podcast.
Look for the Balancing Act podcast every week on your favorite podcast platform. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Thank you for being a part of our audience. We appreciate you.